is going to be primers. So we're going to start talking about primers. And if you have any questions, if you feel that I've left something which I've not covered and there is some doubt, you can always put it in the comment box and I would definitely reply to that. Start. The first thing is to know the definition of the product, which is a primer. As the word suggests, primer. Primer means something which comes in the beginning. So the word prime means at the beginning or at first. So this is a product which is to be applied on the skin in the first step. So once you have cleaned your face or the client's face, once you've done the cleansing, toning and moisturizing, the next thing which you need to put on the face is a primer. So a primer is a certain product which has various benefits to it. For example, the first benefit of a primer is that it adds smoothness to your skin tone. So the first thing is that it will smoothen up your face. So you don't need to actually worry about the pores or the wrinkles or the fine lines, because the primer is going to handle that all, provided you know how to apply that particular product. So the application is also very important. The second benefit is that it adds a layer between the cosmetic and the skin. So it protects your skin from the harmful effects of the cosmetics that you are going to apply on your face, because you know the cosmetics end of the day have chemicals in it. So if there is some product on your skin which is like a barrier, so it will not let the harmful chemicals to get deep inside your skin. And third benefit of the primer is that it increases the stay of your makeup. For example, if you're using a product like a foundation, maybe a Lakme, L'Oreal, you know, Makeup Forever, any foundation, and it doesn't stay for more than 3-4 hours or something like that. So what you can do is you can apply a primer. It will help your makeup to stay longer. So it will start staying on your face for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, depending on how you have applied and what you've applied. Yeah. So the three main benefits of a primer which you need to remember are: it smoothens up your skin tone and the texture, it helps in prolonging the stay of your makeup, and it works as a barrier to your skin, and it helps in protecting your skin from the harmful chemicals. These three things, if you want a product to do, then primer is the right product for you. There are different kinds of primers available in the market, so let's start talking about those. Okay, so talking about the different kinds of primers available in the market, let's talk about the three different formulas in which the primers are being made. So when I say the three formulas, I mean that there are three different textures in which the primers are available in the market. The first formula is a cream-based formula, second one is gel, and the third one is powder. So the powder-based primers are the least known primers around, because not many companies actually manufacture a powder-based primer. But the cream-based primers and the gel-based primers are the most popular ones. Talking about the primers can be very confusing, because there are so many words in the market, such as blurring effect primer, mattifying primer, hydrating, oil control, luminous, and so much more. So when you are about to buy a primer, before buying anything, in fact, whether it's a primer or a foundation or a brush or anything, before buying anything, you just have to focus on what is your requirement. So just try to write it down, or try to just shortlist in your mind that what is exactly that you are looking for. So say for example, you're buying a primer for yourself and you feel that your skin has fine lines. Yeah, so you need something which will fill up those fine lines and which will work as a wax or something, and you know, it will blur the effect of your fine lines. So that's called a blurring effect primer. So these are available in the market very easily. The famous brands are Benefit, Too Faced, NYX, and Anastasia. So now we are going to talk about what primer to be used for what problem. Okay, so basically, when we talk about a primer, uh, do not consider it as 100% solution to the problems, but it definitely helps in solving the problem. Okay, so say for example, you're looking to hide your fine lines. Yeah, so primer can be very helpful. At the same time, if you are looking for hiding your dark circles, then a primer can be helpful, but you definitely need a color corrector. Okay. Similarly, if you are trying to make your skin glow, a primer can be helpful, but you need a good foundation also on top of it. At the same time, if you're trying to hide your pores, a primer can be very helpful, but yes, you need a good foundation with good coverage and a mattifying effect to it. So you have to use the primer as a part of the whole formula. You can't rely upon the primer and then expect the result to come on its own. So now we're going to talk about how to apply a primer. So I've noticed many a times people say that मैंने primer तो लगाया but desired result नहीं आया, या I tried to apply a primer but मुझसे लगा नहीं, या मुझे पता नहीं है कि मैंने ज़्यादा लगाया है या कम लगाया है. So all these questions can be correctly answered if we know how much primer to apply. Okay. So say for example, I have this primer here, and this is a Benefit Professional. Okay. So this primer is basically a silicone based primer. It is in the form of a tube. All right. So when you open the tube, you will feel that there is this little opening. All right. So which means that you have to squeeze it, and the amount of product which should come on your hand should not be more than the size of a pea. All right. Once you have squeezed it, you close this particular tube, keep it away, and then take the product on your fingertips, blend it nicely, and then apply it on the areas where you need the primer. It is not necessary that you have to apply the primer on all over your face. So you can apply the primer as and where required. Okay. Since this is a pore minimizing primer, you can apply this primer on the pores. So basically this is going to mattify the result. The next primer which I have is a Dew primer by Too Faced, and this is a cream based primer. Now this comes with a pump. All right. So when there is a pump, it means that you have to press this, and the amount of primer which will come out of this area can be less or more depending on how harder you are pressing this particular thing. So the harder you press the pump, the more quantity of primer will come out of the bottle. So this particular primer is in a bottle, right? So now taking out a primer from a bottle and taking out a primer from a tube, so there are different ways of doing it, and you need to be careful while doing it. Don't think that this is a very little thing and why I'm focusing on this. This is going to last longer, because if you are taking the wrong quantity of primer on your hands, you will be tempted to put it all on the face. Sometimes ऐसा होता है ना कि ज़्यादा निकल गया तो हम सोचते हैं वापस कैसे डालें, वेस्ट हो जाएगा तो लगा ही देते हैं. This is a very normal human tendency that we don't want to waste a product and we'll feel that थोड़ा सा ही तो ज़्यादा है, लगा देते हैं. But if the quantity of primer is more than needed, then it will spoil your makeup. तो वो मेकअप के अंदर एक एडिशन होने की जगह एक स्पॉइलर बन जाएगा. राइट. इंस्टेड ऑफ वर्किंग फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द मेकअप रिजल्ट, इट विल स्पॉइल द मेकअप रिजल्ट. सो मेक श्योर द क्वांटिटी ऑफ टेकन ऑन योर हैंड इज नॉट हायर देन व्हाट इट इज नीडेड, एंड विद टाइम यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कितनी क्वांटिटी लगनी चाहिए, कितनी नहीं लगनी चाहिए. ओके. सो फर्स्ट स्टेप इज दिस एप्लीकेशन में. दूसरा स्टेप है व्हेन यू हैव अप्लाइड द प्राइमर यूजिंग योर फिंगरटिप्स, I would suggest don't use a brush. Okay, don't use a brush because it's a wastage of the product and you don't even realize कि ज़्यादा लग रहा है कम लग रहा है. Fingers तो आपको बता देंगी because fingers will have the senses, है ना, ये senses है. तो इससे हमें जब हम touch करते हैं तो हमें पता चल जाता है ना कि कोई चीज़ ठंडी है, गर्म है, soft है, hard है, whatever. So the fingers are going to give you the feeling that how much product you've applied on the face. So always use the primer using your fingers. That once you have applied the primer all over the face, you need to wait for at least 50 to 60 seconds, like at least a minute, before you jump to the next step. After the primer, what's the next step? Either you're going to put a concealer or you're going to color correct your face. You'll do the next step. You will put a foundation or whatever. But going to the next step, you need to give at least 1 minute to the primer to work. If you are going to rush to the next step, then you will kind of limit the benefit of the primer. Maybe the primer is still working and it's still, getting hold of the molecules. It's still trying to settle down in the skin and you have applied the foundation. तो क्या होगा कि दोनों products अपने आप में ही clash कर जाएंगे, है ना? So give the product a little time to settle down into the skin and then go to the next step. So I will quickly repeat the 3 points which you need to keep in mind while applying a primer. Number 1, you need to apply it with your fingers. Number 2, take less quantity, not more than the size of a pea. Number 3, after applying the primer, at least wait for a minute and then go to the next step. So don't forget to use these 3 steps while applying your primer. And I am pretty sure you're not going to mess it up. always remember less is more. When it comes to makeup, less is always more. The less you apply, the more in control you will be of your makeup, because जो चीज less है उसको आप कभी भी किसी भी point पे ज्यादा कर सकते हो, right? But कोई चीज ज्यादा लगा दी है तो उसको कम करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. So I hope that this is going to help you in applying your primers.